Who are the top available prospects heading into day 2 of the 2024 NFL Draft? It was a wild night one. Michael Penix to the Falcons, lots of other surprises, a lot of fun. But today we're going to dive into the top prospects available for your teams on day 2 of the 2024 NFL Draft. Got rounds 2 and 3 tonight starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Really excited to get into this. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I am your host, Jordan Lugo. This is Rogue Football. Getting into these prospects. At number 1, defensive lineman Jerzon Newton. I had an early first round grade on Newton, a blue chip grade. This is an unbelievable prospect in terms of his impact on all 3 downs, his ability to wreak havoc in the backfield, his ability to play stout run defense as well, plays with leverage, technically refined. Seems like he always knows how his opponent is trying to attack and defeat him, and then also how the entire offensive scheme and plan design is trying to attack his defense, always in the right place at the right time, incredibly combative hands, super flexible. I think Jerzon Newton, it must be something to do with the injury situation that's held him out of the pre-draft process. That's the only thing I can think of, because other than that, Jerzon Newton should absolutely be an early first round pick. All right. At number 2, another blue chip prospect for me, interior offensive lineman Jackson Powers Johnson. I think he can play center, he can play guard, incredibly young, youthful, not a ton of experience, but the tape that he has put out is awesome. He dominated at Oregon, he dominated at the Senior Bowl. He's a good athlete, he's a huge center, 330 plus pounds. I think Jackson Powers Johnson, his ability to win reps quickly, to recover when he isn't instantly winning, it's awesome. I think he's going to be a starter, a long-time Pro Bowl caliber player on the interior for whichever team is able to land him. At 3, cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry, another first-round prospect who has dealt with some injury situations, right? The Jones fracture in his foot, was still able to run in the 4.4s with that Jones fracture. He's a good overall athlete with great length at the cornerback position, good size. He's patient, he's poised, he can be aggressive when he needs to be. He's a good tackler. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is a plus starting corner in the NFL for a long time. Very experienced in press man, but also in off coverage. So I think you can do a lot with a Kool-Aid McKinstry. At 4, Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. He's a little bit boom bust. I know that there's some aspects of his prospect profile that are not crystal clear. But the bottom line is he's got the size, the athleticism, the speed, and the separation ability, the flexibility to get open on any route, to thrive in any offense. He can go up and get the football at a high level, big catch radius. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is a prospect that, Adonai Mitchell is a prospect that should come off the board very early in night 2. Center Zach Frazier is up next. I think that another first round prospect for me, somebody like a couple of these guys that was not able to really participate in the pre-draft process much due to injury, but I think he projects as, a surefire starting center in the NFL that's going to perform at a high level. And then at 6, Cooper DeJean, another first-round prospect, could be higher on this list really, but I just love all these guys clumped up here at the top. But Cooper DeJean, I think whether you're wanting him to play corner, nickel, safety, whatever it may be, he's going to be able to find success. He's going to be a ball hawk, a playmaker, a really good tackler, a reliable player for your defense. Wide receiver Keon Coleman at 7. I had a late first round grade on him when all was said and done. Yes, the separation profile is less than ideal, but I think Florida State really struggled in his usage. And I think a different offense, a different play caller could do a much better job with Keon Coleman's skill set, which is a 6'3" guy that plays at over 215 pounds, who has surprising twitch at that size, is very explosive 0 to 10 yards, and has elite hands. He plays faster than his 40 time would suggest. So I think Keon Coleman still has a bright future ahead of him. Will be interesting to see where he lands. At 8, Christian Haynes, interior offensive lineman out of UConn. Tried to do some center work at the Senior Bowl. Didn't look super effective. Obviously, you want to give him time to grow in that role, thrusting him into something that he hasn't done at the college level, not going to be smart. But as a guard, I mean, this guy plays with leverage. He's got great length. He's a very good athlete. He plays with fire, with a nonstop motor. He's got that dog in him. He will get under your skin as a defensive tackle. You're going to hate going against this guy. I think he's an immediate and long-term starter. And then at 9, defensive lineman Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State. This is a younger prospect, certainly. I think there's a lot of room to grow physically and from a technique standpoint against the run. I don't think you want him taking on double teams, but getting him in your system early on as a designated pass rusher from the interior and then someone who can also set the edge for you. He's got the length, the athleticism. He's got a pass rush tool bag as well, a guy that can explode off the ball and easily track quarterbacks. He's got the flexibility, the lateral agility to really be an effective penetrator on the interior. And again, can definitely set the edge against the run on the outside for you. So a guy that has some versatility, some flexibility, I really like that. At 10, cornerback Renardo Green out of Florida State. I have an early second round grade on him. This is a prospect that if you want to run press man coverage, I think sign me up all day for Renardo Green. He's not the biggest or strongest or fastest guy. He did run in the high 4.4s, but when you pop on the tape, you see him with quick feet, fluid hips. He's able to stick with opposing receivers as good as anyone in this class. Super disruptive at the catch point. A guy that played more press man coverage than pretty much anyone else in college football in 2023. So I think you can plug him in as an early starter and long-term starter. Renardo Green out of Florida State. Edge Marshawn Nealand up next. I have an early second on him. He is a really unique prospect because he's big. He's a very big edge player. He's got great length, but he combines that with really rare lateral agility and quickness. So I think that that's a really impressive profile. I like the tape a lot, can set the edge against the run, has a budding pass rush skill set, can definitely bull rush you. Again, can use his lateral agility and quickness to get past offensive tackles and make an impact. I think he can move around the formation a little bit as well as a pass rusher. At 12, running back Trey Benson out of Florida State. This is a guy, my top running back in the class. I think that he has grown when it comes to vision and patience. He has incredible contact balance. He's got power. He can make you miss in the hole. He can just really recover at an incredible rate, like balance-wise. Like you could take him out at his legs and he's still not going down. And he also has home run speed, right? He clocked multiple times of over 22 miles per hour during the 2023 season. So I think Trey Benson is going to make a team very happy in the second, maybe third round. We'll see where he comes off the board. At 13, wide receiver Jalen Polk out of Washington, the second Washington wide receiver. He's not the fastest in terms of his 40, but everything else that he brings to the table is awesome, right? Unbelievable hands. His ability to come down with contested catches, to adjust to the football in the air at all three levels, to not drop anything. He is explosive 0 to 10 yards. I think Jalen Polk is going to be a very good starter for a long time. I have safety Tyler Nubin up next from Minnesota. Not the fastest safety in the world. So probably you're looking at a guy that can, run in a 2-high scheme, cover 2 shell, also come downhill. I think he's a good tackler, but he is a ball hawk. He is so smart. He sees the game really well. I think Tyler Nubin's going to be a starter for a very long time in the NFL. Next up is cornerback Ennis Rakestraw out of Missouri, a guy who pre-draft lead up, not the best for him because he didn't test the best. But when you pop on the tape, he's feisty. He's aggressive. He's got good length. He can play press man. He is going to cover his ass off. He's going to tackle his ass off. I think Ennis Rakestraw, a long-term starter in the NFL. 16, wide receiver Roman Wilson. I have an early second round grade on him. Right there with Ladd McConkey. Those two are tied for me right here. I think both of them can be elite slot players. I think they both have great speed. And the ability to get in and out of breaks. I think Ladd McConkey, a slightly better route runner, whereas Roman Wilson is a little bit more physical, a little bit tougher, a little bit better hands overall. But I think both of these guys can be move Z/slot players at the next level. Up next is Roger Rosengarten from Washington, the tackle. I think that he's going to be a starter. He's got the length, the athleticism you need. He's very technically refined, a guy that's played a good amount of football, and I think he will be able to project as an early starter at the next level at tackle. I think he can probably play either side. Then you've got Javon Baker out of UCF, the wide receiver. Look, if he didn't have as many drops on tape, I would have him a good bit higher because his highlight plays are unbelievable. I think he's a guy that does have a high average depth of target, so there are some difficult catches that he's asked to make consistently, and he does generally make those. He's able to plant and go. He can leave you in the dust with his separation ability. So I think that Javon Baker is a guy that there's a little bit of variance in his game. There's a little bit of risk in the projection maybe because of some of the hands issues, but I think Javon Baker projects as a starting receiver that can make a high impact in the NFL for a long time if having a little bit of variance, right? At 20, running back Blake Corum out of Michigan. This is a prospect that I just love. I think he did a fantastic job in all the field work at the combine. I think he tested well enough. He's going to be a powerhouse back. I would not be surprised at all to see him land with the LA Chargers, a guy that I think is going to be a starting running back in the league. Has a good receiving profile, pass pro, great runner in between the tackles. At 21, Dominic Pooney, it pains me that he's this low. Probably really should have him a little bit higher, but I love Dominic Pooney, a five-position flex type of offensive lineman, played tackle at Kansas this past year, has played guard, also did some center work and looked good doing it at the Senior Bowl. I think he's got the length, the aggressive demeanor, the athleticism, the feet to mirror movements to really play anywhere on the offensive line. Love him. Up next is Junior Colson, the top linebacker in this class. I think that I said this a while back. He compares, in my opinion, to Nick Bolton. I think Nick Bolton at this point in his career diagnoses the run a little bit better, but you're talking about a fairly good athlete who's smart in coverage, who is great in the tackling department, sees the game well. I think Junior Colson is going to be a player that whichever team lands him in the second round, they're going to be very happy with him. And then linebacker Peyton Wilson, who probably should come off the board early based on his tape. He's a great athlete, but you've had some medical concerns, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands. I am super high on safety Keaton Oladapo out of Oregon State. He's more of a strong safety slash kind of a too high cover two type of safety, but good quick feet. He's got length. He's got strength. I think that he is just such a fluid athlete at his size. I think he's going to be a starter in the NFL. I've got Jonathan Brooks on this list as well, the Texas running back who has been dealing with, the ACL, should be back for the start of the regular season. But a player who projects as a starter in the NFL with his skill set, his ability to make you miss in space, to turn short runs into medium runs into long runs. I really like his projection to the next level as well. Cooper Beebe on the list here too. I think Cooper Beebe, doesn't have very good length, but he is awesome. Played all positions at Kansas State on that offensive line. I think that in the NFL, he's going to be, kind of limited to guard or center, but I think he's going to be a starting guard or center in the NFL for a very long time. Big fan of his game. I think that he just is a good athlete, very good athlete, tested well, technically refined, hard-nosed type of player you want on your football team. A few guys I want to name here up next, but not really dive deep into them, just to give you an idea of where I'm at on some of these players. We'll roll through a few of them, maybe 10, 20 here. Chris Braswell, Braylon Trice, Malik Washington, Mohamed Kamara, such a big fan of his game. Dwayne Carter, Tanner Bordellini, Max Melton should be higher on this list. I should have mentioned him already. Mikey Sanders still, nickel kind of do-it-all corner for you out of Michigan. Chris Abrams-Drain, Missouri. Obviously Ennis Rakestraw's teammate, big fan of his game as well. Undersized. DJ James, another undersized corner. Huge fan of him out of Auburn. Adisa Isaac, Troy Franklin, Kieran Amagaji. I love Ray Davis. Kamari Laster should come off the board as well. Even though he doesn't have very good speed, he does everything else at a really high level. And then some tight ends I'm interested in seeing. Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State. I think that he can be a versatile pass-catching tight end for you. I think Jared Wiley brings a really interesting profile. He's kind of my guy in this class at tight end. Theo Johnson, another really good athlete who I think can be a better pro than he was at Penn State, a guy that can be featured a lot more in the passing game. Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU, unbelievable athlete, still a very young prospect, has some technical work to do certainly, but I think he has starting potential. Edgerrin Cooper, the linebacker, a guy that has unbelievable athletic traits and length. I still think there's some development there that needs to be done. A couple more guys, Braden Fisk out of Florida State, Javon Bullard, Will Shipley, Marshawn Lloyd, Kamani Vidal, Jonah Ellis certainly deserves to be up there. Kalen Bullock, Chris Jenkins, Kyrie Jackson, Ruka Rororo. I could go on and on, but we'll stop it there. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know who your top targets are on day 2 of the 2024 NFL draft. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of where I'm at. Didn't really have the time to go into all the graphics and that stuff today with all the swirling NFL draft coverage going on here, trying to get out as much content for you guys as I can. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section below, your favorite day 2 targets for your football team. And if you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.